Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to this week's segment of Live Without Limits. Today's show is titled 12 Ways to Get People to Want to Do Business with You. This is a very important aspect of owning your own business because why you choose a niche is because you want to work with a specific type of person. Risk is essential. There is not growth of inspiration in staying within what is safe and comfortable. Once you find out what you do best, why not try something else, said Alex Noble. It's no secret that building a business is about building the right relationships. But how do you attract the right contacts? Here's a quick 12-step guide to securing the most important professional relationships and doubling your revenue as a result. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is that why do you go to networking meetings? Because you want to meet the right contacts that can refer business to you. And not only they refer business to you, but you refer business to them. This is really important because having a resource of people that have are a authority in areas that you know nothing about, that you can ask questions to, and not only can they help you, but you can reciprocate by helping each other. Keep your word. Be honest. Don't let your ego get in the way. Magnetism, as you recall from physics class, is a powerful force that causes certain items to be attracted to refrigerators, said Dave Barry. All of us are born with a certain amount of charisma, but some people have a special kind. They have what I call magnetic selling personality. In other words, others not only feel drawn to them and want to have a relationship with them, they also want to do business with them. A lucky few are born salesmen with the internal ability to make people buy whatever it is they're selling, be it a product or an idea. But what about the rest of us? Can we learn how to do that? Absolutely. I can think of people, or at least a dozen things that you can do to develop this skill. This is what we're talking about today, how to develop a skill that you can attract people to you and have a constant flow of business, that when you're ready to retire, you don't have to worry about whether or not you can get Social Security, because you will have enough investments to be able to help you live as comfortable a life as possible. People tend to do business with people they like. So, behave in a way that makes you likable. Be polite and patient. Avoid being crude, rude, gruff, or impatient. That sort of thing. And here's another thing to think about. Don't lie. I recently had to go to a lawyer because I have a sister that literally thinks She can lie her way out of anything. She stole from someone. She tried to embezzle from them. And then she has the gall to even ask them to make her the executor of their will. It's like she so doesn't see herself for how she treats people, to the point that all the friends she had when she first moved to Atlanta have all gone by the wayside because they've really learned what she's really like, and no one wants to be around her. For many years, she taught, and she taught 30 years, but 11 years after teaching, she had to take off 3 years. And initially, she was saying that she was going to look for a totally different type of job. And yes, teaching was never really her calling, but she didn't have the personality to do anything else. And then ended up going back to teaching after 3 years for the next 19 years so she could have her 30-year retirement. And the last year before she retired, she had to change school systems. So remember, don't to people, because you're going to get caught, and when you get caught, it's going to cost you a lot more in the long run. People are attracted to people who keep their word. So when you make a promise, do exactly what you promised by the deadline that you promised or sooner. If you make a promise to do something and you don't keep it, then you're looked at as being unreliable. And what's going to happen is, especially in business, people or businessmen need people around them that they know that they can rely on, that if they delegate work to them, that it's going to be done. Not that they're going to come back at the deadline and find out it hasn't even gotten started. People are attracted to people whom they believe have their best interest at heart. They know you have the best interest at heart when they hear or give them advice that benefits them the most, in spite of the fact that you won't make any money doing it. When we're talking about the best interest at heart, is that you're willing to go out of your way to do something. And I want to use some examples of that. Why Princess Diana was so respected in the monarchy, that she had so much power, was not because she exerted it or pushed people into it, but because she was very kind-hearted. She would do things that no one else would do. She brought attention to people who had AIDS. She brought attention to the homeless. She brought attention to the minds that were there, and was willing to put herself in danger to expose those things. And in essence, by taking her sons with her and showing her that other side to life, they are very different than their father. They are very caring and very loving. And this is what you truly want to see from people who are kind-hearted, because they will go out of their way to help someone in need without even thinking of the consequences of what it's going to be for them. Because, and yes, whenever you do business, it's WIIFM, or what's in it for me, but you also want it to be a win-win for everyone, because if it's a win-win, then guess what? When both people benefit, then you will be building relationships that are strong and binding. And in doing so, you are guaranteeing yourself that you are well on the road to reaching the goals that you have set for yourself. People are attracted to people they believe are experts in their fields, the gurus. To use this principle, first you need to actually become a leading expert in your field through practice, research, training, education, and study. Then do things that demonstrate your expertise to others, including potential customers. This often includes writing books and articles, giving speeches, serving as a great pundit on television and radio programs. This is becoming far more easier because you've got YouTube, you've got Zoom, you've got GoToMeeting, and these are platforms that you can use to post videos of yourself doing presentations. Even podcasting is another way of making yourself look as a guru. Why is this so important today? Because the gurus are the ones that people are attracted to. And especially why speakers years ago used to write books. When you look back at the industry and how things have changed, for many years, if you wanted to become an expert, you had to have a book out there because there was either that or be a writer for a magazine and be a continual contributing writer, something that people will pick up a magazine and read and get to recognize your name. Today, you can be a blogger and post blogs daily. And what has that done? That has made it much easier for someone to get out there and put themselves in the position of becoming known as an authority on their subject. And how is this so important? For many reasons. Knowing people want to buy. And let me back up and let me put it this way. When you put out an ebook, it may not be more than $7 or $10, but then you can take and repurpose that to an e-course, to a webinar, to even a book. And what happens is, because they bought one product from you, you can always upsell them for higher price products because it's easier to do business with people that you've already done business than it is to try to find new business. People are attracted to people who are honest, ethical, and above board. So why lie to your marketing and elsewhere when telling the truth is so much more effective at giving you business? And I'm going to revisit something that I started talking about, and this is what my sister, she supposedly, because her two older sisters have disabilities, was the one that was supposed to be the most capable, but yet she's the one that was the most bitter and jealous of her sisters because of a perceived wrong that they did to her, and she took out on them the abuse that should have been directed towards her mother, because it was her mother who didn't allow her to have or make changes so that she would have a room with her own bed. Instead, she slept on a day bed. Then when that day bed went, she had to sleep on a higher bed. So that what happens when her mother and her sister move into an apartment, instead of saying that the sister should have a bed, what does she do? She gets a trundle bed that she sleeps in for nearly 20 years. And then when they finally decide to get another mattress, they ended up getting her a bed. And then she literally resented that she had a bed to sleep on. That what did she do? When she was trying to put the mattress back on her bed, my sister then pushed her against the rails of the trundle bed with the mattress on top of her. And then her comment was, oh, I think she's upset because we're going home. Now, I'm sorry, but how dense is that? How stupid a remark is that? Do you really think that she was upset about that, or was she truly upset because of what you were doing to her? Even now, after my mother has been gone almost 7 years, she'll still ask her to come and stay with her. Not because she truly wants her there, is that she's never lived alone. And living alone, she doesn't know what to do with herself, so she overeats and has gained a good 75 pounds to 100 pounds more than what she ever was in her life. And she gets so lonely that she wants someone there that she'll ask her to come in to visit, and knowing that when she's there, she abuses her. People are attracted to people who are physically attractive, or at least not physically repulsive. I know it seems shallow, but it's true. Eat right, exercise, stay fit, be well groomed, dress well, pay attention to your personal hygiene. I have a neighbor that had cancer of the face that left his face so deformed that he literally went to doctors to have plastic surgery. And through all of the medical help that they tried to give him, nothing worked. That for over nearly a year he was in the hospital healing, and now he's home and he doesn't go out. Why? Because his face is so deformed. And not just that it was left deformed, but it got even worse to the point that he had open sores. And he's done nothing because he doesn't want to interact with the outside world because of all the negativity out there. People are attracted to regular folks. The best way to establish rapport and begin a relationship to be cordial, friendly, and genuinely interested in the other person. Instead of talking about yourself, ask questions about their company, their job, their industry, their family, and hobbies. People always like it when you show an interest in them. When you talk about or you encourage them to tell you little tidbits about their family, and you remember that, and you remember when's a birthday, when's an anniversary, when's a graduation, and then you as a business person send them a graduation card, a birthday card, even an anniversary card. It touches them. It makes them want to do business with you because you remember the things they talked about. People are attracted to people who listen and really hear what they are saying. Remember the old cliche, you have two cars, you have two ears and one mouth. So you should listen twice as much as you talk. Actually, for best results, you should spend 80% of any conversation listening and talk only 20% of the time. Let's say this again. The cliche is that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And what does that mean? That you should listen 80% of the time, and you should only talk 20% of the time. Not only that, when you listen and you're attentive to the next person, you make them feel more important to you than they may even be. But helping them feel that important will help you as an individual to gain not just a relationship with them, but their confidence, because they truly will believe that you care. People are attracted to people who are like them. The trick here is to establish one thing that you have in common with the other person and allow that to grow and see that the bond between you. It can be anything from weekend hobbies, golf anyone, to shared pet peeves and goals. Do you ever wonder why entertainers will use Instagram or Twitter to interact with their fans and talk about things that they've been through? Because it's a way for them to show their fans that they're no different than they are. Because you know what? When you see someone on the screen and you follow them for years, they seem so far away and so unattainable. But with social media today, they're able to interact with their fans and show them that they're no different than they are, that they have feelings, that they have emotions, that they have times when they get depressed or sad, or they have addictions just like everyone else. And it's not about the downfall of that person anymore as much as it's that they're human, that they have frailties just like everyone else. People are attracted to people who are humble. Don't be a braggart, and never discuss how much money you make with your customer. If that's less than he makes, he may think you are not successful. If it's more, he may feel you are making too much money because of the high prices you charge. You want to give people more value for their money, and by doing so, then they will be more willing to pay it. Always, never try to be over-aggressive. And the word that I'm trying to think of is be overpowering, because if you're dealing with someone and you totally want to control them in every way, what is going to happen? They are going to balk. So if you're humble, if you show them that you are, even though you may be more successful or maybe a little less successful, but what it is that when everyone is equal and they see you as someone that's no different than they are, then it's going to help you build one of the best relationships you could possibly ever have. People are attracted to people who seem busy and successful. That's why you should never tell a prospect that things are slow and you really need orders. Think about doctors. You don't like waiting for the doctor, But how would you feel if you walked into their office during normal hours and found there were no patients waiting? Wouldn't you be wondering how good the doctor is? Wouldn't you feel more assured if the waiting room was packed with patients? Of course. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you're an entertainer, whether you're just someone who likes to tinker around with cars. When you stay busy, then people realize or see you as someone that has achieved so many activities and opportunities and the ability to treat everyone with a respect. Because, you know, it doesn't matter how successful you are, but if you're waiting for someone too long, then, and I can tell you from having been at one time having to get food stamps, even though there was no one there, I usually had to sit there for a good half an hour to 45 minutes, even when I had an appointment. And it just made me more resentful of them because they did not respect my time. People are attracted to other people as well as companies and products. That makes their lives easier and saves their time. They also prefer to deal with people who are flexible and accommodating, not rigid and difficult, and they hate it when you waste their time, even if they're not terribly concerned about wasting yours. Bottom line, concentrate on developing these 12 characteristics of a magnetic selling personality until they come as naturally as tying your shoe. When you master them, I practically guarantee that you will attract at least twice as many prospects, close twice as many sales, and earn twice as much money as you do today. And why is this important? I'm going to tell you a little story to finish this out. My sister, many years ago, or a few years ago, we had a contractor that was redoing the bathroom. He literally gutted it. And he needed, before he could put the wall up, he needed the shower head. And the original shower head she had bought had no wand to it. And then she had to go replace it. Well, the salesman was not going to be there on Monday. Tuesday, she had to go an hour away to Miami to take my sister to the therapist. So the contractor waited 2 days, or rather 3 days, for her to finally go pick up the shower head and bring it so he can complete his job. And the fact of the matter is, she not only didn't respect his time, but she didn't even respect me because I had nowhere to take a bath. I had no toilet to go to. That you just remember, it doesn't matter who you are, but you need to learn to respect other people if you want to do business with them. And remember, you can go to my website, and that website is the #1 personalcareercoach.com. And you can get both individual and group counseling, and we can help you put together a strategy to build your business.